Hello everyone, my name is Aisling Ellis and I'm here to talk all things ADHD. First off, what is ADHD? Well, ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, and it is a neurological condition which affects different parts of the brain. Scientists are continually learning about the ADHD brain, with some psychiatrists believing there are many different types of ADHD. But in recent years, there has been a more collective approach to ADHD. There are three main types of ADHD, which are inattentive or distractive, hyperactive or impulsive, or combination ADHD, which is the most common and contains elements of the other two types within the one category. To find out more about the different types of ADHD, please click here. I myself have the combined type, and my own symptoms of ADHD are a mixture of each category. In order to be diagnosed with ADHD in Ireland, you must have at least 6 identifiable symptoms within each category. There are a long list of symptoms for ADHD, and for some, it may seem like a regular daily mishap, but when a myriad of symptoms are presented together, it can be very difficult to manage and may mean you have ADHD. So if you're being told you are just lazy or you're just forgetful, remember your brain is dealing with such a big load that it is perfectly acceptable to cut yourself some slack. Some of the symptoms of ADHD include difficulty staying focused on pretty much anything, finding it hard to complete something you've started, forgetfulness or brain fog, daydreaming, interrupting others unintentionally, stimming, and many more. Depending on the type of ADHD you have, these symptoms can vary. Click above to see how these things affect people with ADHD in their everyday life. Women and ADHD. Women are often misdiagnosed for other conditions or have great difficulty in attempting to get a diagnosis. In my opinion, this is due to the outdated overview of ADHD amongst medical professionals and the wider world, and the lack of clarity on ADHD symptoms in women. People with ADHD often mask their symptoms, and this is particularly prevalent amongst women. Things like hyperactivity can exist within the mind, and it can be difficult for ADHDers to explain their symptoms in a linear fashion, as our brains hop from one thing to another. Another reason for significant underdiagnosis in women may possibly be related to gender bias. I personally felt that I was not taken seriously by some when I presented with symptoms, so if you have a good feeling that you have ADHD, consult multiple medical practitioners if absolutely necessary. Now on to how the ADHD brain is structured. The brains of people with ADHD function and develop differently than neurotypical brains do, which can affect the regulation of moods, emotions, and brain cell connections, but it can also affect how different parts of the brain interact with one another. The nerve cells within the brain are called neurons, and they are responsible for sending messages around the brain. In people with ADHD, this can take more time to develop and mature than neurotypical brains, and can be less effective at conveying information, messages, or behaviours. Studies surrounding the brain structure and ADHD are just in its infancy, with a 2017 study suggesting that children without ADHD and children with ADHD have different sized brains. The study indicates that children with ADHD have a slightly smaller brain, which may take more time to mature. It is important to mention that this does not affect a person's intellect. Neurotransmitters are chemicals in the brain which help transmit signals from one nerve signal to the next within the brain network. The ADHD brain has lower levels of the neurotransmitters norepinephrine and dopamine. While norepinephrine plays a role in the body's stress response and helps to regulate sleep, alertness, and blood pressure, dopamine affects motivation, movement, perception of reality, and the ability to experience pleasure. When the body is constantly in fight or flight or struggling to get joy from everyday life, these symptoms can often be interpreted as something other than ADHD. Coexisting conditions are also common in people who have ADHD. If you would like to know more about co-occurring conditions, please click above. If you feel like any of the things that I've talked about today may indicate that you have ADHD, don't panic. There are more resources out there than ever before, and if you think that this sounds like you, please seek support by linking in with your GP or a trusted loved one and do your research. Click here to find the host of services on ADHD Ireland. They provide outreach, information, a list of psychiatrists, and so on. I hope that you've learned something new and leave this video with more of an understanding about the difficulties that face ADHD people in a neurotypical world. Thank you.